Hey, welcome, guys. This is the Elite Objections panel. Got some experts on here just to help out as far as how, when you receive objections, how do you come up with the right rebuttals? How do you say it? When do you say it? Just to kind of get you guys over that hump. So I'm joined today, Marlon Hernandez, FFL Excellence. We got JP, Jean-Pierre Badon with FFL 7 Pillars. We have Clifton Henry to my left here, FFL Generational. And we have John Bacaron with FFL Elite Syndicate. So the objection is I have to talk to my wife or talk to my spouse. How would you guys handle that?
Well, I'm glad you want me to go ahead and talk to your wife. Go ahead and grab her right now so we can make a family decision together.
She's not available.
Then I would say, okay, so if she's not available, when is the time that she is available?
Don't know. She goes in and out of the house.
I would say, okay, well, give me a call back when you guys are both home together so you guys can make a decision together.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't try and pitch the husband without the wife or vice versa because it'll lead to a chargeback.
Anyone else would do anything different?
Yeah, so just to spread the I would say the objection or rebuttal, if you're in person, you'd want to reschedule. If you're doing a telesale, I would ask a couple more questions. Like the programs I'm going to provide for you, it's going to require a financial decision. This is going to need both you and your spouse. Are you comfortable making a decision without her, or you need to consult with her? If you need to consult with her, then we need to reschedule because you don't want to do a one-legged. Right?
Yeah.
But I would try to get a presentation in, and if they make a decision, but that's a high chargeback.
Yeah, high
if you don't
chargeback
follow
rate for
through.
sure.
Yeah, I would go for it. I'd still try to close that deal. So I'd say, John, so you want to wait to talk to your wife, you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I suggest is this. Right now, we don't know if you're going to qualify. So assuming you haven't done a pre-check, I guess we weren't that specific, but assuming that you don't know whether the client wants to qualify, I'll still push that and be like, okay, well, I think it'd be better if we found out if you can get approved by this carrier. That way, when you do talk it over with your wife, you can give her the options that, are for certain for you, right? Because I'd hate for you to go talk to your wife. You guys both get excited about a plan that we don't really know if you're going to qualify for yet. So what I suggest we do is let's see if you qualify, and then go from there. So that'll work sometimes. If it doesn't work, reschedule, of course. But I usually try to still close it. So if I can get them to agree to qualify, then I'll let them know, okay, great. So look, now that you're qualified, I'll kind of forget that he mentioned that he needs to speak to his wife. So I'll just be like, okay, so now then I just move forward. I'll be like, okay, so look, the next thing we need is just 2 more sections, beneficiary section, payment section. You have 30 days. They'll usually bring that objection back up. Well, hey, like I said earlier, I got to talk to my wife. Listen, you're going to have 30 days. So what we can do is set your payment for 30 days from today. That's enough time to talk it over with your wife. Would you agree? Great. Let's do that. If that works, great. If it doesn't, you have to reschedule. But I try to go for it as much as I can. Yeah, no, it's worked in the past. It's worked in the past. It hasn't worked. I can probably say that it hasn't worked more than it has worked. But I know that sometimes the lead form says they're single and they tell me they got to talk to their wife. It's like, I thought you said you weren't even married. Sometimes it's like an excuse. Right. They don't want to, so.
Just not going to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can qualify that way too. You can qualify and just say, is it really your wife or significant other, girlfriend? It's not really your wife. So you make decisions on your own, right?
I can't afford it.
I'm here to learn. I've never heard any of these.
Okay. Go, John. Or
So, going back to in person or in telesales, like, didn't you fill out a form? Aren't you looking for life insurance?
Didn't you know you have to pay for this?
Yeah, didn't you know that this is not, state funded or anything? So, and then you just follow through. The best thing about these programs, it's set up for members like you in kind. We have plans available that'll fit your needs and your budget. Now, do you have a budget in mind or a face amount in mind? What are you looking for? Okay, so you do want to play it off, but at the same time, make them understand you need money. And if they're not going to have any funds, they have no bank account, you just got to move on.
What if they say that at closing, though? Like all the packages, say you lay out 2 to 3 packages, none of them are available? Like none of them they can afford. Do you close down, or do you just say?
So
Okay.
affordability for me, the way I would do it is when I'm doing my needs analysis, I am asking about their income. I'm asking how much is your take home, and I go by take home, not gross. Okay, because they can inflate that. What do you get exactly into your monthly bank account? So I would judge my premium payments based on that. Okay, so you'll run into some clients. They're making $950, $1,000, $1,050. So I will make my lowest plan available for them around $30, $40, affordable for them.
I ask my clients or leads before they're my clients, I ask them, hey, do you have a budget for yourself? You know, life insurance, as you know, is going to be a monthly payment. Everyone's money is different. You know, some people tell me, hey, I don't want to pay more than X amount of dollars. You know, Bob, what would you say your budget is? So that's usually how I get kind of a money talk out of them. If they tell me that they can't afford it, if they flat out tell me that, I'll say, okay, I understand you feeling that way. I'm assuming money must be tight. Is there, you know, have you been quoted already? Is that why you're saying that? Because some people I talk to, all the quotes I've gotten, I just can't afford any of that. So I'll try to gain as much insight as to what happened behind the scenes. And that's going to obviously help me understand what's going on. But yeah, usually, you know, I mean, the way I see it is like, even if they can do $20 a month, money's money. And $20 with our contracts, that pays us $200. That buys us 5 more leads. So for me, I view it as like, I think in the beginning, I would view low premium as not, I wouldn't go after it as much as I would the bigger premium. But the truth is that like everything counts, and $200 could lead me to a lead that's going to get me a $2,000 premium. So if there's no money, if they tell me, and it does happen, like, hey, I really can't spend anything, kind of like what you were saying, then yeah, we can't do anything. I'd be like, you understand this is a monthly payment. I've had 18-year-olds call, been like, hey, I can spend $150. I've literally had to talk them out of not purchasing insurance because I'm like, where do you work again? I just had a guy. And then, you know, I applauded him. I was like, hey, man, I think it's great you want it. I told him I would probably wait. He's like, I work at Burger King. I've been there for 2 months. And I'm like, yeah, let's just wait a little bit. Like, you only make $700 a month. You want to spend $150 in insurance. I was like, you know, maybe $50, but I was like, you know what? So I just asking questions just to see what's going on.
For me personally, I don't ask how much they make. It's kind of irrelevant to me. So going off of final expense, which is primarily what I've worked. So when it comes to final expense, the first thing I ask them is, you know, obviously go through their information, ask them if they currently have insurance, and then ask, do you know how much it costs for a funeral today? And then they'll be like, I don't know, 10, 15,000. Then yeah, that's about the average, about 15 to 20,000. So, you know, I let them know, using Americo, use my favorite carrier, start off with the 40, do the show maybe the 25 and 15. So I'll let them know, hey, look, this is the reason why I'm showing you this, the 40,000 to take care of the funeral costs today. You know, also give you some additional money to leave behind for the family, you know, to leave as a legacy, or if unexpected things come up, which they always do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then they'll say, yes, agree with me. The second plan provides you with enough for a funeral cost, plus a little extra, you know, to take care of the extra stuff. The final plan with the 15,000, this is the bare minimum. So at the very least, you take care of your funeral expenses. Does that make sense? So then, if you put it in terms of value, you don't have to contend so much with actual cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Usually, well, like for me, that kind of comes up in not necessarily the beginning, but towards the middle, coming towards the end of like getting towards the close. And I guess the best way, the technique that I use to kind of get them to get away from that is what Marlon basically did. I asked them what their budget is. Obviously, I figure out their budget and kind of tailor it to them and kind of let them know, hey, you know what, every individual, every client has a different need and different wants. So, you know what I'm saying, what your budget fits is what we're going to be able to look at today, and kind of just like break it down and walk them through it. And that way, I let them know, hey, if we can find something in that particular budget, would that help you make a decision today? And that kind of like, you know, you can say kind of eases them out of, you know, later on saying, hey, you know what, it's too expensive, or I can't afford it.
I do like the idea of options because, you know, 9 out of 10 times, if you present them 3, in my experience, they'll usually go with the middle one.
Yeah.
So I like them to see that because it's now, you know, like, hey, you can think about, you know, if this is going to be too expensive. So I think options is a good idea.
So the objection is, can I think about it?
Okay, so there's two different ways you can do this. So you would say, hey, Yoel, what is there to think about? They'll say, oh, well, I just want to think about it. Are you wanting to think about it because it's maybe the price is a little too high? Or you think maybe you can't qualify? What is there really to think about? Oh, the price is too high. Yeah, Yoel, I totally get it. All of the products that we work with are geared towards people over the age of 65. So they're highly state regulated. So I'm going to shop around right now for you, find the most affordable coverage, and we'll go ahead and put an application in. There's nothing really to think about because you already know I'm working in your best interest to find your lowest cost insurance. Or you say, I need to think about it. Why? Well, I don't know. Yoel, can I speak frankly with you? You're 75 years old. God can call you home at any time. You had the last 30 years to think about it. Let's put an application in right now, see if you get qualified. I tell people that. I tell people over the phone that too. Think about it. Why? What's there to think about? There's nothing to think about.
What if they say that after you presented price? Because that was kind of more like when you're in the middle.
After you presented price, then that just means you sold them too high. You should have showed them maybe a little bit lower. Or you could look at it this way, is that they're thinking that they can get a lower price somewhere else. So you need to make sure that they understand that you are a broker and you work with, 30 different companies in the state of California. I'm going to do some cost comparison right now. You're not going to find a lower cost insurance anywhere else because I work with all the carriers. So let's go ahead and get you the most affordable plan right now.
Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah, I think if someone says they want to think about, just kind of act a little bit surprised and just be like, oh, okay. Now, just to make sure that I did my job properly, what is exactly you want to think about? So at least you kind of get the objection. You want to smoke out what the real objection is so you can kind of address it. Also, you can also take the route of saying, sure, I understand you want to think about it, perfectly understandable. But the thing is, the carrier still needs to think about it too. We don't even know if they'll accept you yet. So the thing is, all we got to do is move forward, try to put through an application. Let's see if you even qualify. If you don't, then I can't help you anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Prior to the pre-check, that's a good one. Like, hey, while you want to think about it, hey, just know they got to think about you too. Afterwards, once you've done the pricing, if they still say that, and if you go lower in price and they still,
Then
they're
just weren't
probably
a buyer.
not going to buy.
They just weren't a buyer.
So maybe I'll do a follow-up. Okay, hey, think about it. What if we touch base? They're only going to give me 24 hours to keep your application open. After 24 hours, they're going to close it down because privacy reasons, your social is on this, and So can we talk in the next 24 hours?
I mean, I like to call them out if they say if you try to close down already, they still don't want to give you an answer. They still tell you they want to think about it. I'll just be like, hey, I'm actually here on your side. It's okay to tell me no. If you don't see that you need the coverage, just let me know. If you don't like me, if you think it costs too much, you don't think it's valuable enough. The thing is, we've already established you don't have this coverage already in place. You still haven't taken care of your funeral, and if you don't put this in place, you still have to have another thing to worry about. So the thing is, I just want to know what it is exactly you're thinking about, so I can do my job and resolve this. So the objection is, how long is this going to take? What do you guys got?
5 to 10 minutes.
You know what I'm saying?
I like to address people head on. I would say, hey, if you're too busy right now and you don't want to take care of it, I'll give you a call back. So what I value what we're doing. So we're actually applying for life insurance to protect your family. If you don't see value in that and you have something else to do, go ahead and do it. It's okay. I'll give you a call back. I'm straight on with people now. I'm not too soft when I first started, like too polite. A lot of the objections that people give us, they're all smoke screens anyway. They're not real. Albert brought up a big point. Like that last thing that he said was solid. Like, what are you really trying to think about? Is there something that I did or you don't see the value in it? And they'll be like, no, I trust you. No, I see the value in it. Okay, so in my mind, you don't have anything to think about. It's the same thing applies to this logic here.
What was the
Yeah.
objection again? Sorry.
How How long is this going to take?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would say 5 to 10 minutes as well, as John mentioned. And normally when you're on the phone with someone, after that 5 to 10 minutes and you're talking to them, another 5 to 10 minutes go by and they really don't
They forget
really
about
don't
it.
sweat it after that.
Yeah.
They
totally
forget
forget
about it, and then you could continue with the prezo, and if you're closing, whatever the case might be. But letting them know 5 to 10 minutes seems like obviously sounds like it's gonna be quick. So they're assuming it's gonna be quick, but after you're on the phone with them for a bit and talking to them and getting them comfortable and having them lower those walls, you'll be good after that.
Yeah.
So the objection is, I don't have a bank account. I don't have email address. One of these things in which you can't complete the application.
Well, you could complete an application if they don't have either. You could do a voice signature with Prosperity. They don't need an email. And with Prosperity, if they have a debit or credit card, you can also use that. You'll get paid as earned, if I'm not mistaken. But if they have a Direct Express Social Security, Prosperity will also take that, and they'll pay you advance once that client makes the first payment. So that's just for agents watching this. But if they tell me that, I will say, oh, no problem. You don't happen to have a bank account. How do you normally pay your bills? Maybe there's a prepaid card in there that actually has a routing and account number. They're just not aware of that. So maybe I can help them collect both numbers, which I've done plenty of times before. Or there's a Direct Express card. And that's for the no banking. What's the other one? No email? If there's no email, voice signature really, or Aetna,
Aetna doesn't have it. Yeah.
the security question, which I like to do with city you're born in. So you can still do an application.
So this is for an in-home appointment. If you show up and then they say, can we do this on the couch or can we do this outside? Somewhere where it's not the optimal place to do a presentation, like a kitchen table.
Yeah. So how I do is I let the clients give control. I give the control to them. So I tell them it's your home, wherever you'd like that's comfortable. Now, once we're walking and headed to the couch, then I make a suggestion. Actually, preferably, can we use the kitchen table? Because I show my laptop. I have something to put up. I don't have anything on the table. But couch-wise, as long as it's a directional where it's not face to face, it's too far away. Some people have like love seats that are like laid
Depends on the
back
couch.
with the TV and all that. Yeah, it depends. Some people's homes are small. They don't even have a couch. They're sitting on the bed. You're sitting on a small chair, or you're standing, right? So you make do. But if there is an available better situation with the table, you would suggest that.
Sometimes you got to go to the car.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes it's raining. I've let him sit in my car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is with virtual and telesales, it's a lot easier because we don't have to deal with the logistical stuff. But every once in a while, you will have to go see a client in person. So when that time comes, you should be prepared for that situation. It's all a game. So the thing is, you just have to kind of read the client and see where they're coming from. So sometimes it's them not wanting to give you control. So they say like, let's just sit here, and then if that's the case, and like it's much better at the table, and they keep saying no, this is fine. I'll actually intentionally sit there and I'll write it and I'll make it really awkward so they can't see, and I'll kind of just like angle it in a weird way. So then they kind of like keep leaning. I'm like, is your neck hurting? Would it be easier because like, my back's really uncomfortable here. And then
come on.
Eventually they get. So the thing is, it's a little cat and mouse game initially, but you do what you got to do, and the thing is, it comes with experience.
Yeah. I basically do the same thing that John does, but coming into the house when they kind of point towards the couch, I just kind of say, hey, can we use the table? I'm saying it's a lot easier for me because my laptop gets hot. I don't want my you know what I'm saying, just like make up like corny stuff like, hey, my laptop gets hot. You know what I'm saying, I gotta write some stuff down. It's a lot easier on the table. It's a lot easier for both of us if we use the table. And they're like, okay, that makes sense. And then we'll just use the table. I haven't really gotten anyone that says, hell no, dang. I'm sorry, guys.
I've done worse.
No.
I've done worse. You're good. You're good.
I feel like a kid.
If you guys are watching and getting objections, you probably heard worse than that. So let's be adults. So the objection is, I want to shop around.
I was just gonna say.
I want to shop around. What do you guys say in that situation?
Okay, let's do it right now.
Okay, I want to shop around, JP.
Yeah, I don't want to make a decision right now. I want to shop around.
So yeah, I definitely, I would say, Albert, it would be very weird if you didn't shop around. So let's go ahead and do some shopping around for you right now. Like I said, I do work for Mutual Omaha, Americo, AIG, Gerber, all the big carriers. Let's do some cost comparison and see which one gives you the lowest rate. This is how I do it. So that way there is no shopping around. They're doing it with me right now.
Can you email me the quotes?
Yeah, I definitely can email you the quotes, but the biggest thing is we got to get you qualified first. Let's see what a carrier says before we even do that. I mean,
Well,
is
I'm
it
really
something-
healthy. I mean, I'm not. I'm going to qualify to the fullest.
Okay, when you say healthy, have you had any prescription medication prescribed to you? In the
I'm a
past?
veteran. I take all my vitamins. I went to the doctor last week and I'm good.
Okay, so let me ask you a few more questions.
I already
you had-
have life insurance too. I'm
Okay.
qualified.
Okay, which company did you go through with?
I have. Well, I don't want to tell you because you might. I don't want to tell you the price or anything or the
Okay,
name.
so Marlon, it seems like we're fighting each other, but you got to
No,
remember.
I just want quotes. Can
but
you
you
email
gotta,
me?
but you got to remember, I work for you. So let me do some shopping around for you right now. Make sure I find you the most affordable coverage.
That sounds good. Just
And
email
that
me
way-
all those quotes.
Well, you got to get qualified first. So let's see if we can get you qualified, and then we can go ahead and make a decision.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
No, I know. I just not. That's. I'm.
we get the
playing
email
that-
a lot.
yeah,
I
'cause
know.
we don't
We
really
know.
know.
Yeah, the
Yes.
email. So the email part, realistically, when they say, "Can you email that to me?" That just means in their mind they're not really ready to buy.
Yeah, it's not as
They're
valuable
not.
to them.
It's not. So then I would take it away. I would say, "Hey, I would want to email these things to you, email the quotes to you, but honestly, I don't know if you even qualify for this first. So out of these three options, which one's the most affordable? Now, out of those 2 or 3 affordable options, let's go ahead and apply for one. And then let's see if we can get you qualified. That way I at least have something to email you. I can email you the policy that you got.
I think when it comes down to emails, they're putting off the conversation right now, right?
Yeah.
They're not even seeing
They don't want to
the
talk.
value in talking to you about it, right? So it's a shy no, basically. That's what they're saying. That I'm not giving you my time of day. So my question when I get clients on that is, it's this something you're going to look into? You're really going to read your emails? We get a lot of emails, right? It might end up in your spam. Is this something you're not ready to decide today? Would it be better to just book and reschedule an appointment when we can go over this? I would rather reschedule than email. Like, I'm going to email you something, it's going to take too long, and you're probably not going to read it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think a reschedule would be wiser because for some reason, right then and there, they're not interested. And it doesn't mean that they're not interested in general. They could just have, I don't know, dinner on the stove or something.
They're just putting it off.
Yeah.
But what
You
about
off and it off.
what about without the email caveat? What if it was just I want to shop around first?
Okay.
I love that one because, yeah, what he said, I mean, that's perfect, Bob. We're brokers, so we actually do all the hard work for you. We will do the shopping around for you, so you actually don't have to get on the phone with all of these carriers. So, again, we just need to know which companies will accept you in your state. I'll do that. I'll talk to the carriers, the underwriters. I'll have your results, and I'll call you back once I know which companies will accept you. We can discuss pricing.
Yeah.
So I usually do, like for telesales, I actually don't handle it all in one call. Like the initial call is I collect info and I then hang up. I give them my phone number because Lord knows they're going to get 10,000 more calls. And if I don't give them my phone number, then I lose them. Then they're not going to pick up because they don't know it's me calling. So I get all their info and then I find out which carriers approve them. Once I have that data, then I'll call them back like, hey, this is because I've learned that keeping the client, and it's not all the time, but sometimes you get clients that they get declined for all the carriers and then you have them on the phone for
Too long.
40 minutes. It's too long. So they get a little impatient. You start feeling a little bit. So I do like a call back there, but I let them know, hey, we'll do the shopping around for you. I'll name some carriers. I'll name all the carriers.
Yeah. I would even
so
add
we've
to
got
that,
over
like,
100 carriers.
I would even ask a couple of questions to the client too. It's like, so have you shopped around? I would check them. Like, have you been shopping around? How many quotes have you gotten so far? Or is this something you're telling me? Is this something new that you're telling me? Right? Because I like to do when I do telesales, I send them a picture of our credibility sheet. It has all the carriers in there. So it shows proof and credibility of, okay, I could do all the shopping for you. And then my line is to find you the lowest rates with the most coverage. So I'm doing the shopping to find you the lowest rates. So usually it saves some time, but it could be a smoke screen of putting you off again.
I'll also ask them, hey, are you looking for a specific carrier? Because if they want to shop around, maybe they already have a carrier in mind. And I'll go ahead and say, yeah, New York Life, we have them, but you don't want them. You want prosperity because, or America. So sometimes they have something in mind, but.
And the biggest thing, what he just said with that is that you want to say that our carriers are always the best, not for necessarily us, but for that specific client.
For them,
I would say, hey, Yoel, you're diabetic, you're a little overweight, you had an amputation or whatever. There's this company called AIG. They specialize in getting the best coverage possible for people in your situation with the lowest cost. So let's go with AIG for you.
Right.
So that way it makes it seem like, okay, he just said because of this, and this company's the best for me. So that way they feel like they don't have to do any shopping around because I already just told them, what's the best. That's typically how I handle that objection.
Yeah, it seems like most of us kind of do the same thing. And what I like to do is let them know, like, hey, you know what? Most of my clients, the reason why they actually come to FFL because they know that we have so many different carriers that we can actually shop around and find the best product and the most affordable rates for them. So that's the reason why they come to us, and our job is to make sure that we can get you the product.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
And then one last thing to add is that when you are quoting, you do want to sell the company and the carrier. Okay, so this is America. They've been around for 100+ years. They're private. They pay out. They got billions in the bank. So they're local. They're out in Missouri, wherever you're at, and then you sell them. This has additional accidental benefits, living benefits. They have a customer care line, terminal illness rider. I would sell the carrier so that they don't have to feel like, okay, I need to shop around.
Well, I got two approaches for this when they say they want to shop around. My first one is the civil one. I'll say, hey, perfect. I'm glad you want to do that. Because the thing is, I'm not even sure if I can help you yet. Because the thing is, I don't know if we can get you covered. So I'm just going to run through a couple different options. You let me know if you have any of these health conditions. I'm going to go through. And if we can't help you out, if I can't get you covered, you still got to shop around anyway. So do you have any heart conditions? And then keep going from there. Now, the thing is, if I feel that they're really just trying to find a way to dodge this and not actually give me a shot, if they say, I still want to shop around, at that point, then I'll say, oh, okay. And this is when I play stupid. I made a career playing stupid. So I'll say, oh, okay. Now, when you fill this out, isn't this what we're doing right now?
Shopping around.
Yeah, but I want to check out more companies because I know there's a lot.
Yeah,
more.
that's why I'm a broker, and because you filled this out, my job is to go through the different options available for you. And if I can't help you, I can't help you. But the thing is, this is what we're doing right now. We're shopping around. If you don't like it, you don't like the certain company, you can tell me. I'll try to find you another one.
I like.
Well, that's a whole different topic.
The biggest thing with the shopping around, so for all the agents that are watching this, is to just understand that you have to put yourself in your client's shoes. A lot of the people that are looking for final expense coverage are on fixed incomes, so their budget is very tight. So if you can keep that in mind when you're trying to help them out and, make sure they understand that you're looking out for their best interest, you won't get the shopping around so much, the objection. Yoel, I work for you. My job is to actually shop around for you, but it's based off of your age and your health. So let me find you some options that fit well within those criteria for you.
Now, if they actually use an objection like Marlon just mentioned, they named another company. Hey, I like this company because they know someone that works there. The thing is, if you don't know very much about the company, just let them know. Hey, you know what? Yeah, you may be able to go with that company, but that company may be fully underwritten, which means they have to perform a physical exam. It has to go through the MIB. If you get rated to decline, it actually gets reported and it impacts your ability to be able to qualify for insurance in a later date. Now, the carriers that I have, most likely we will be able to get you a decision today. No medical exam. We'll be able to get you an instant approval. And if I can't, then you're more than welcome to go and see what America has to offer you.
Those
Great.
are my favorite. I actually love those a lot because they understand the process. They understand that like I'm gonna need your social. Like if they truly have a policy, they understand that they're gonna have to give over that sensitive information. That's probably the biggest thing for me with telesales is the passing over of that sensitive information, which I fully understand because I'm the same way too. Someone calls me they want my routing and account number. Like, I'm going to think twice about that. But people that call in, hey, I already have insurance. Great. So I can probably move quicker. And so, I'll just ask questions like, oh, that's awesome. What do you currently have? I'll say, Yoel, okay, you currently have insurance. Are you calling in to add on, or are you calling in to replace the policy that you have? Do you want to play along, or?
Yeah, sure. I want to add on.
So Yoel said he wants to add on. So perfect, Yoel. So what do you currently have? I'll ask him, how much he's paying, coverage. I'll try to get a company name if they know it. And then that should be easy. I mean, an add-on, they already know what it entails, and same stuff. Then I go back to my basic spiel of, okay, we got to see if you qualify because you got this policy 2 years ago. I'm sure. I mean, has your health changed in the last 2 years? Maybe yes, maybe not. Well, regardless, by law, we're still required to do another medical check. So we're going to need this, and this again.
Right. I think too many agents look at it, someone saying, I already have life insurance, as being a negative thing, where in actuality, it's a very positive
I
thing.
love it, yeah.
First of all, we know they believe in insurance. Second thing is, if they have a policy that's been around for a long time and, the attained age, you can't really beat that. You can always try to supplement it. And on top of that, there's always people in the house that are not covered because typically the agent just covers one person. So everyone else still doesn't have any coverage. So you just got to get in the house. You just got to get that presentation in and figure it out from there.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, and the replacement can be tricky. We have to make sure we do it
within
right
the
way.
replacement rules.
Yeah, because
So if you're resetting their 2-year contestability period, if they, they had the policy for a little bit.
Yep.
So got to be mindful about that. But the thing is, if we can objectively provide them with more coverage at a lower rate, especially if it's going to be immediate coverage, it's not going to be graded. Sometimes you can just go through the process and mark yes to the replacement, so they understand the liability behind it. It's reported to the Department of Insurance, so everything's on the up and up.
Yeah. Another thing to look at, I'd say, in addition to maybe you can get them more coverage or the same coverage for a cheaper price, look for waiting periods. I've had a lot of people call in that have a 2-year waiting period. We call that graded. I've had, not all, but a few that I can get them level coverage instead of graded.
Right.
That's huge because it might cost the same. It might cost, usually it's less if it's level. But that's usually a automatic winner. Like, oh, hey, you know what? I know you have this policy here, but you called in to see if we can do. Listen, this company here, that diabetes problem that this company gave you issues for, not an issue here. So instead of you having a 2-year waiting period, it's actually going to be level, which means day one coverage. Which, God forbid, anything happens to you, as long as everything you've been truthful here, you're good. So you don't have to wait 2 years. So another thing to look at if replacing.
Any other objections you guys get pretty frequently, or things that
I
your
have
agents
one
get stuck
for telesales.
Yeah,
I'd
please.
say one that I get that I can't beat, but I just pass the lead on to somebody else if I can. What if, I know you do John, you do telesales? Well, we all do it.
Yep.
So what would you guys say if someone says, you know what? You're in California, I'm in Georgia. I'd rather deal with someone local.
If I hear that, I just feel like that client's just not ready to buy. Because think about it this way. If you're buying car insurance from Allstate and the guy's over in Pennsylvania, like, oh, well, let me think about it because I want to deal with the local Allstate guy in California. I'm like, well, we have the same products in every state. I am licensed in 40 different states, and I'm also licensed in Georgia. I might as well knock it out, right now. It's the same process. And if they still tell me no, they're just not a real buyer in my eyes. So,
I've thought that, and I've actually passed on, and yeah, I'm sure some people are like that. I've passed on the lead to an agent that lives in that state, and it's actually, we've been able to set up
did
a
they
pre-sale.
sell it or no?
I don't think they sold it, but
So that
they
was
were still.
that probably wasn't the real objection.
I honestly think
Maybe.
it's not a real objection because Marlon, you're sharp on the phone, and your presentation, like as many calls as I've done, like nah, that's not a real objection. Because if someone said, hey Marlon, I want to deal with a local guy, I would say, hey, I definitely understand that. Now, basically, I am local because I am licensed in your state, and I serve clients, all over in what's the state again? There was that?
Georgia.
Doesn't
whatever.
Georgia. So I'll mention big cities or whatever. I've sold clients in Atlanta or wherever the case may be. So basically, I'm local, and you're going to go through the same process with your local guy that you are with me. So let's just go ahead and get you covered right now, so that way you don't have to go through the extra steps of trying to run someone down at a local office. Let's just go ahead and get it done right now. And if they still say no, that client's not a buyer in my eyes. It's just not.
Well, I think in that situation, I haven't actually got it, but I think if they were to say something like that, they want to see someone in person, I would say, hey, I totally understand. I prefer to do things face to face too. So actually, what's your email? I'm gonna send you a Zoom link. I can get on. Have you tried that?
Yeah. No, there's very few that they've been like, they're older, they want someone in person, they feel more comfortable, which I can understand that. But for the most part, I'll try to pivot to like a FaceTime or Zoom.
I've only gotten that like few times.
Yeah, it's very rare.
Very rare.
But that's the beauty of our business. There's agents all around.
There's options,
Yeah.
But I mean, at that point, I would still try to send them a Zoom link first, or try to get them on a FaceTime, because they're already not going to meet with you. If you can offer one last thing, that might be able to get them to at least tell you the reason why.
Exhaust
You did
all
your
your
job.
options.
Yeah.
Another objection would probably be, let's see, need to think about it. I'm not interested. Already got to take. I have work coverage. That's a good one.
Work, yeah.
So a good one for work coverage is say, hey, Yoel, I'm actually glad that you have work coverage. About 99% of the clients that I do help, they do have work coverage. But I do want to let you know that policy belongs to your company, not belongs to you. So if you ever to get fired, laid off, something happened, that policy stays with them. It doesn't stay with your family like what you needed to stay with.
Nah, my coverage stays with me.
It stays with you
Yeah.
regardless if you get fired or laid off?
Yeah, it stays with me. I pay for it out of my own pocket.
Does your company subsidize it?
No,
It's not a group plan?
no.
That's not work coverage, and that's your own private policy.
No. It is work coverage because you can get work coverage through work. It's not a group, but it's separate.
The
from
group
the person,
coverage is a
basically.
lot cheaper because the employer takes on usually a percentage of the cost of insurance, and they relay the difference to the employees.
Yeah.
Now, if you leave, you have to pay the difference, and it will become an actual personal policy. That's true. But
That's rarely the case.
But-
That's rarely the
but
case.
The way you overcome that is that by the time you leave, you're going to be a lot older. You might as
Yeah.
well get your portable one now because
Yeah.
you're 40 now. You plan to leave when, Clifton? At 65? So you could, but you're going to have to pay the price as a 65-year-old when instead you could just lock in your own portable where you're the owner, etc., for the price of as a 40-year-old.
And also, just so you know, the price of insurance when you leave a group is a lot higher if they're selling the same product. So say, for instance, you're with Mutual Omaha. Mutual Omaha has a very cheap group, and they're trying to take that same product from outside the group. It's going to be higher than what's quoted for a normal individualized policy. Now, that I have seen.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to objections, it's three main reasons, right? Either they don't like you, they don't trust you, they don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that every once in a while, money.
Yeah.
Okay. But the thing is, when it comes to objections, these are the most common ones that we come across. So if you guys come across these, now you guys are much better prepared. If you guys have any additional questions on objections, please reach out to your upline, reach out to any one of us, or my personal suggestion, hop on the live dials, listen to other people do it. And most importantly, get your leads, start calling yourself, practice yourself. That's how you're going to overcome these. So appreciate you guys hopping on. Appreciate all you guys sharing your guys' knowledge and information. And let's continue to be elite, guys.